Imagine standing before Jesus. He looks directly at you and says,
"I am sending you."
But then he tells you, you may be rejected, you may be hated, you may be persecuted, you may even be betrayed by those closest to you. Would you still go? Because that was the call Jesus gave to 12 ordinary men. He called them disciples, then he sent them out as apostles. And their mission carries a message for you and me today. Jesus had been healing the sick, casting out devils, ministering to multitudes scattered like sheep without a shepherd. But when he looked at the harvest, he saw something that broke his heart. The harvest was plentiful, but the laborers were few. And he said, "Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest." That prayer is still unanswered in its fullness today. The fields are still white, the need is still vast, and the question Jesus asked then, he is still asking now. Will you be part of the answer? Along the shores of Galilee, Jesus saw Peter and Andrew casting their nets into the sea. He called them, and immediately they left their nets and followed him. A little further down the shore, James and John mending their nets. He called them too. They left their boat, their nets, their old life, and followed Jesus. Later, Matthew sitting at a tax collector's table. Different men, different backgrounds, different occupations, but one calling, "Follow me." They had all witnessed the miracles of Jesus, the sick healed, the oppressed delivered, the power of God revealed. Now it was time for them to move from watching to working. At first, they were disciples. A disciple is one who learns, one who receives instruction and follows. But now Jesus was sending them out. They became apostles, messengers sent forth. The disciple learns, the apostle goes. The disciple is trained, the apostle is sent. And this is not just ancient history. God does not call us merely to sit and receive. There comes a point where everything he has taught us must become something we carry to others. Notice how Jesus chose these 12, not from schools of theology, not from the halls of power. Fishermen, a tax collector, ordinary men. When he called, they left immediately. No negotiation, no conditions, no salary requirements. A quiet rebuke to every generation that will only go when the conditions are comfortable enough. The apostles went as sheep into the midst of wolves, and they turned the world upside down. The harvest fields were white in the days of Jesus. They are still white today. Millions searching for hope, millions trapped in sin, millions bound by fear, addiction, and spiritual darkness. And still the laborers are few. Somebody told you about Jesus. Who are you going to tell? Jesus gave the 12 specific instructions. No gold, no silver, no extra provisions. Trust in God, not in resources. Enter homes that receive you. Let your peace rest there. If they reject you, shake the dust from your feet and move on. And then he said, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Be wise, but remain innocent. Be discerning, but do not become cruel. Stand for truth without losing the Spirit of Christ. Because since the day sin entered this world, a battle has raged between darkness and light, and these 12 men were being deployed directly into the middle of that war. Jesus did not promise them comfort. He promised them something far greater, his presence, his words, and his Father's care. Jesus was completely honest with them about what was coming. Councils, governors, persecution, some death for his name. He warned them, a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Imagine that. The very people you love may not understand your decision to follow Jesus. The sharpest wounds sometimes don't come from enemies. They come from family members who reject the gospel while you embrace it. But before their hearts could sink, Jesus said this, "Not even a sparrow falls to the ground without your Father's knowledge." The God who notices a falling sparrow notices you. He sees your sacrifice. He knows your struggle. He counts every cost. When persecution comes, when people reject you, when the road becomes difficult, do not give up. Your Father sees you. After telling them everything it would cost, Jesus told them what it was worth. The reward of faithful service is not the applause of crowds, not earthly recognition, not the approval of men. It is heaven. Whosoever shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. And then he said something breathtaking about even the smallest act of service. Whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water only, he shall in no wise lose his reward. Not a great sermon, not a mass crusade, a cup of cold water, done in humility, done in His name, because God is not looking for the greatest service. He is looking for faithful service. The one who sees in secret will reward openly. And when the King returns, He will call the names of those who were faithful. The 12 were called, trained, tested, and then sent. Today, the call has not changed. The harvest is still plentiful. The laborers are still few. So ask yourself, am I only a disciple who listens, or am I also a servant who goes? Be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. Expect hardships. Trust in God's unfailing care. Keep your eyes fixed on the eternal goal. Do not labor for the praise of men. Labor for the King, because one day He is coming back, and faithful service will never be forgotten. If this message stirred your spirit today, write in the comments, "I am sent." Subscribe to Believers Chronicles for a new Bible lesson every Sunday, and share this with a fellow laborer in the harvest. The fields are waiting, the laborers are few, but you can be one of them.